Matt, this is a short video on SMS etiquette, right? Because with Zipline, you have the power, if you like, to send text messages to anyone that you happen to have their phone number, right? So, depending on how you got their phone number, really sets the background, I suppose, for your legal obligations and what you can and can't do with SMS. Now, I want to clear up that I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. What I'm talking about with etiquette here will likely keep you in the safe area. In terms of that. But for disclaimer, if you like, you should always get your own legal counsel as to exactly what you can and can't do based on your country or your state's specific laws about what you can and can't do with text message marketing. Okay, that said, let's dive in to talk about a few of the fundamentals about what we know of SMS marketing and what's really, when I say etiquette as well, is it's like regardless of what the laws are, it's like what is a decent thing or what is a polite thing to do with messaging. Okay, so first one is like most of this video, well, this is talking about the context of if someone opted in for some information from you at some point, then yes, they requested you to send messages to them, right? Or at least one message, right? But the time since they sent you that information can affect that, right? So if someone opted in for something like 2 years ago, and you're going to reach back out to them to offer something, then there's definitely some guidelines as to how you do that. And so if you consider that in terms of, when you're re-engaging with people, that's what this first point is for. So I'm going to use an example here, show you like a campaign. This is based on a fitness offer type of sequence that we have run. We find to work quite well. And so this is our single SMS offer, right? So if you've got a list of, say, 1,000 people and they did opt in, but some of them 2 days ago, some of them 2 months ago, some of them 12 months ago. You want to just send a single message to get back in touch with them, right? And so there's some key elements to this message, which is firstly, you can see it says, hi, contact first name. So it's going to address them by name in that message. And it's going to give them a name. In this case, we have this custom value of an assistant, which we have in our custom values area. So it's basically, hi, John, it's Alex at, and then your business name. So this template here actually inserts your actual business name. So it might be, hi, John, it's Alex at Fitness ABC. We miss you. If you'd like to pop in, we're offering a few special restart packages right now. Would you like some more info on how it works? Okay, so which is actually part of this format. It is addressing them by name, identifying yourself and your business, explaining what it is, and then saying, do you want more information about this? So instead of the typical, we're doing this, click here to sign up, and now that's a promotion, right? And you probably should at the end of that say, or reply stop to opt out, etc., things like that. This is a more casual message, and we're saying, do you want any more information on this? And unless they say yes, there is no other message, right? It is a one-off message. Okay, so in terms of etiquette, you'll notice this campaign has no further messages. So unless someone says yes, they don't get anything else. If they say no, then you can go into the conversations area, and I'll show you I'll show you the conversations view in a second, actually, because that's a different topic. You can basically mark them as DND, and you won't accidentally send to them again. But if they say something like, thanks very much, not right now, but thanks for staying in touch, then you could just leave them on your list and contact them again. But if they say yes, then you can add them to another campaign. And whilst you can do, if they do a positive intent with Zipline, people say crazy stuff. So just be mindful that as much as we would love to automate the whole process, it's easy enough to simply manually add someone to the next campaign in your conversations view at the appropriate time, which I'll show you in a minute. So the next thing I want to point out is the next campaign. So say someone has said yes, is now you could send them a series of messages, okay? Basically saying, great, the next step is to do this. And that's up to you what you do with this flow, right? We often encourage, we help people book phone calls a lot. And so we often say, great, so I can give you the right answers, the next step is to book a phone call. Would a morning or afternoon work best, or whatever, right? So, but in terms of SMS etiquette, here's a couple of notes. You might be working at 2 o'clock in the morning and you might add them to this campaign. What you can do is you can set a window on your campaigns with Zipline. Okay, you can do this at campaign level or you can do it at message level, and I'll show you the latter in a moment. So for example, this has a window in the campaign configuration that this campaign will only run when the time falls within Monday to Sunday, 6:30 till 10 p.m. That is probably the widest hours you might want to do. Now, again, this is not a legal advice. In some countries, you might actually have to set that to a smaller window between, say, for example, it might be something like 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Okay, it depends on your exact laws. Okay, so that's where you can set that. But again, there's also, you're generally creating a window here of writing back. They messaged you at this point, so you just want to be polite about when it is. So that's what you can set there. Okay, so you can set that window just here. The other place you can set those is that in the follow-up messages, right? So this will affect the first message, but then in subsequent messages, say this second SMS, you'll notice this one is set to wait 7 hours, and then it sends on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday at 10:34 a.m., right? And this can be edited within the message itself down here, and we're using the exact timer here to say what day. You might say Monday to Friday only, and you want it to go at exactly 10:30, for example, and you can save that. Okay, so again, it's SMS etiquette that we're sending it at a nice time of day. But the other thing is, from a marketing perspective, you're more likely to get a response from someone if you send it at a time like that, rather than running an automation. Some platforms don't even let you set those windows very easily. So it's very easy to control here to make sure those messages go at a time that makes sense. Okay, and then finally what I'm going to show you here, I'm just going to switch over to a tutorial account. There we go. Just to show you in the conversation view, again, this is related to SMS etiquette, like what you can do with these conversation flows. Okay, so for example, here we have just an example contact, right? So say this person was in the campaign, you ran the campaign, you fired off that campaign to send them that first message, and they said yes. What you can do is down here, it says active campaign, you can click add and just manually add them to that positive response, right? So I don't have it here. Here I could just pick whatever it is, single message, but that would be your positive response where you're about to send them multiple messages because they said yes, and you would just add them to that. We don't have to put a start date time. We just add it because we know we've got our window set. It's either going to send now because it's the middle of the day, or it's going to wait till tomorrow. Okay, and then there you go. So there's the message just there. If someone writes back no or stop, right, which is the normal response of what someone expects to unsubscribe from something, then you can also you can just hit this DND here, right, DND, and there it is, right? Now, if you want to, especially with that first message, if you're reaching out to people, actually give them a link to opt out on, then you can definitely do that, okay? And I want to show you this just as part of this SMS etiquette email. So for example, we can go into our what we would do is we would simply create a trigger link first. So we'd go into our marketing and we'd go into trigger links, and we would create a trigger link. In fact, I'm just going to use an example one here, say option A, and you might send them to, so all you're doing here is creating a link that takes them to a page that says you've been unsubscribed. That's all it is. So you can follow the funnel tutorial videos about how to do that. It's just a link that takes them to an unsubscribe. So I'm just going to use this google.com at the moment, but notice that it is option A is the trigger link. All right, so, oh look, there's even one here, unsubscribe. We're going to use that one, okay? So what you can do is you can now, you could say in your campaign, say for example, we had a new campaign, and this was our single re-engagement message, and you want to provide that opt-out link if you choose to do that. Then we would, again, you'd set up your campaign configuration. You'd make a window to make sure that this only fires between, here we go, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., Monday to Friday in this case. And turn off stop on response. We don't need that here. Put this in publish. I'm going to add an event. Here's my SMS, and I'm going to say hi and say contact first name. It's Matt at Zipline. We have a reopening offer starting. Would you like some more information? Or click here to unsubscribe. Okay, and then what we can do, we put in this trigger link here and we say it's our unsubscribe just there. And that will actually send a shortened Google link. It won't send that many message characters, if you like, to help you keep your message character under control. It'll be quite a short link, and you can send yourself a test like that to verify that. Down here by sending send test, okay, and then we would save that message, okay. And then what you do is you set a trigger down here, and we've probably already got one in this tutorial account. Let's have a look. Unsubscribe down the bottom here if I move my head up the top. So here's our unsubscribe trigger, and it is trigger link clicked, and when the trigger link is the unsubscribe link, it sets the contact as DND, okay, and that it is enabled the DNT, like that green toggle going across. And what that will do is it means they won't get any more emails or SMS from your Zipline account. Even if you actually accidentally sent to them, it won't send because they've been marked as DND. So that's the other way that you can really, if you wanted to be like really upfront, like if you don't want our messages, click here, you can do that. The second way you can do that is you can also say reply stop, right? Which is something that people are familiar with, and you can run a similar trigger. You can just say, and you could set your trigger to customer replied, and you add a filter, and you could say in campaign, or you could leave that blank if you want it to work for all campaigns. We're going to actually select a campaign, so say it was in our newsletter, and then we say, whoop, customer replied, and then we say contains exact match phrase in this case, and we just write stop. Okay, and then that will fire the same trigger if they write that back. Okay, if you want to make sure it's a catch-all, you would add a second trigger with stop in capitals, right, to just double check that, because sometimes it won't. It is case sensitive, sometimes it's not. It's weird. So you might choose to do a second one with stop all in capitals. Okay, so that is the end of this little tutorial video. If you like just talking about SMS etiquette, you do have a lot of power in what you can send here. As I said at the beginning of the video, if you're not sure about what you're doing, we definitely recommend you seek some professional advice on this is what I'm doing with my SMS messages. Am I compliant? Because it does vary in different states and different countries. So hope that helps. If you do have any questions, please reach out in the support chat and let us know.